I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I'm not falling, I'll push all my chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows, and where I'll go in life, still nobody knows. But I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes, and ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.
Dave here with a bit of an update on Dave Gets Wood. We are at a big turning point in that there's only one bit of the table left to do, and that wasn't it. Sorry. I'm absolutely exhausted. Been over on Little Brother move for the last few days. So I've been busy pretty much every day and I am exhausted. I mean, I was doing some stuff on the computer earlier and I really just wanted to go and get some sleep. But I thought, no, you know what, I'm going to do this first. And I did. So, we finished these little extra pieces. And we finished all of the little extra pieces and all of the big extra pieces as well. So the only bit left of the dining table to do is the top. However, there is quite a bit to do on the top. I'm not going to show you now, I'll show you on another video when I'm a bit more awake. But I will quickly mention it. On the top of the table, it's been a long time since we did anything with it, but we did fill some of the sort of gaps with a bit of clear resin, which hasn't been sanded down yet. And the reason that hasn't been sanded down is because I need to carve out the shape I'm going to do on the table. And it's mainly been drawn out. I've still got a bit of drawing to do on that, and that's what I'll try and show you. I've got a slightly better lighting situation at the moment. You may have noticed on these last few bits of video clip it's a bit brighter in here, but I've got a big fuck off lamp over there, which really lights up this room a lot better than having the light on that's up there. So yeah, so at some point I will show you what I've drawn so far, and for anyone that doesn't remember, I'm kind of going for it's almost like a river table, but not a river. It's going to be lightning, but I can't go off the ends of the table, because if I do that I've then got to seal the ends of the table with something, probably Perspex, and I don't want to have that hassle. So it's kind of like a contained lightning strike, which is bigger in the middle and it goes out getting narrower with loads of forks, lightning forks coming off it. And now the bit that is sort of in the middle, I think at its widest point it's about sort of so wide, I don't know if you can see my fingers against the black, about wide, not deep, because the table's only fucking that deep. But yeah, so that wide. I'm thinking whether I need to make it wider, but there are risks if I do that, because there are a couple of things that I need to get right when it comes to the process of the table. So things I need to do is carve out the design, finish drawing the design, carve out the design, varnish the table, varnish the table up to the point where I'm ready to apply clear varnish, then apply the resin into the carved design. Once that's done, I then need to make sure it's all smooth, sanded down. Then we're into the clear coats of varnish. So the drawing it, that's not the most complicated, but it's a little bit time consuming and hurts my hands. The carving it out, there's a couple of crucial parts to that, and that is that the edge of the carving design has to be as straight down as possible, because if it's on a slant, I've mentioned this before, if it's on a slant, then the resin is going to go to the maximum point, but in this area here the resin will be very thin, and because it's coloured, it won't have as much depth of colour to give a really dark colour that I want. So in this area it's going to be too light, potentially see-through, and we'll see the wood below that's been carved and might not look so good. Whereas if it's straight down and the resin is to it, it's got all of this depth to work with. So that's what I need to do. A bit tricky though when you're doing lightning strikes that get from wider down to smaller, but we'll see how we get on. We're going to have to go through a few of the Dremel bits to see which is going to be the best one to do. Now I was wondering whether I use, instead of a Dremel bit that's sort of cylindrical straight down, whether I use one that sort of starts cylindrical, then tapers in, but then actually comes out again, like it's got a little hat on it, so it tapers out and it's circular. So there's a bit of a lip, so I could go under and leave a bit of an overhang on the table. But if I do that, I'm leaving a pocket for air bubbles to be produced basically, and I don't need the air bubbles. So now when it comes to carving out the design compared to when I've done lettering and stuff like that, or numbers or other designs, those designs have been straight lines, and that's been difficult to do. Really I would need a fixed routing tool of some sort to get it perfect. Thankfully though, because this is lightning, it's wiggly lines everywhere, so it doesn't have to be perfect. There is no straight lines, so it should be a lot easier in that respect. But that's going to be time consuming because there's a lot to do, and it's going to be a bit messy as well. So the table's too big to put into here, which means I'm going to have to do it in my living room, which means I'm going to have the vac on while I'm carving it out. And as for how deep I go, I don't know, but I've got to be aware of how deep my table is, in case I create any weak points. Right, so once that's been done, obviously the varnishing, that's something we normally do. Can't use a French polish technique though with varnish, I've learnt that. You can do it with French polish because it's a completely different type of substance. Dries very quickly, which is why basically you can rub one way, it dries, and as you come back it's adding a new layer. With varnish it don't work like that. It takes so long to dry that if you rub one way then the other, you're just taking off what you've put down, if you tried the French polish technique. So varnish should be a normal situation. Then the most difficult bit is the resin pour, because I don't know how much resin I'll need. I don't know how easy it's going to be to pour it. I don't know how easy I'm going to get it level, but at the same time, I don't need, with colour, I don't need to fill all the way to the top, right? I can go a bit off the top and then put clear on the top. So that was another part of it. So with it being a bigger resin pour, I'm going to need a bigger resin mixture, and it's going to take longer to dry, but also because it's a big surface area, I'm going to need to find out a way to be able to cover it to keep any dust and dirt out of it. Not easy. So yeah, good luck with that one. So there's a lot of factors to overcome. Once the resin pour is done, depending on how that goes, depends on how the rest of the table goes. If it goes really well, then we're straight into sand it off, polish it up, and then apply the clear coats of varnish until I'm happy with how shiny it is. And we're done, put the table back together, job done. If the resin pour doesn't go well, we're in for a lot more work. So yeah, and air bubbles could be the big issue there, but we shall see how we get on. Right, I've waffled on for 10 minutes, about to run out of memory, so I'm going to go and get some sleep. So have a good one everybody, and apologies that it's taken so long to get to this point with the table, but we're nearly there. We are nearly there, which also means there's going to be a slightly new series of videos that I'm doing, hopefully. Right, have a good one everybody, and we'll see you all again soon.